Well, good morning. It's 10 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started this morning. If you would like to let me know that you are joining us this morning for our talk time, if you will go down to the bottom of your screen and you can either chat that you're here, or if you have any questions, you can go to the bottom of our Q&A. But today we are going to talk about the flag of the United States of America. And actually, the flag has to be one of the biggest symbols for the United States of America. A lot of places, schools have flags, courthouses have flags, federal buildings have flags, but flags you can see wherever you go. Anytime you go outside of your house, some people even have flags that hang from their front porches, or they might even have a flagpole that's in their front yard. But today, like I said, the flag, we've had a flag since 1777. So if we subtract the year that we're currently in, 2020, from 1777, do you know how old that makes the flag of the United States of America? It makes it 243 years old. However, our flag looks a lot different today than what it did when it was first developed. So I'm going to switch to I'm going to share a screen with you, and we're going to look at what the very first flag looked like. So be just patient with me. Here we go. We are working to get that screen up. Can you see my screen? If someone can give me a thumbs up, really help me if you can see my screen. Also, again, Flag Day is celebrated each year on June the 14th. So this is our very first flag. If you look at it, again, it looks like the flag that we see today. However, we have many more stars, but everything else basically remains the same on our flag. So let's count our stars on our flag. We're going to start with the one in the top corner at the very top. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So our very first flag had 13 stars. And the purpose of having 13 stars was to represent the 13 colonies that we began with, or the 13 colonies that became states in the United States of America. And if you notice, how many red and white stripes do we have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So what do you think the 13 red and white stripes mean? Again, they represent the first states that we had here in the United States of America. So let's go to our next slide. So let's look at the colors a little bit. So we have red, which represents bravery, white, which represents purity, and blue, which represents justice. And of course, the stripes represent the 13 colonies, and the stars will represent all the states. And today we have 50 states in the United States of America. So the 13 original colonies, as you can see, we have a map here, and all the states that you see highlighted, those are your 13 original colonies. So we have Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, New York, Delaware, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, Maryland, North Carolina, South Carolina, and Georgia. And those were what we started with. And then as the United States of America grew, we added on all the other states that you see right here, including Alaska and Hawaii. So I'm going to stop this screen sharing for a second. And I'm going to take the moment to read to you a quick story about Betsy Ross and the flag. So, on the 14th day of June 1777, the Continental Congress passed the following resolution: resolved that the flag of the 13 United States be 13 stripes, alternate red and white, that the Union be 13 stars, white in a blue field, representing a new constellation. We were told that previous to this, in 1776, a committee was appointed to look after the matter, and together with General George Washington, they called to the house of Betsy Ross, who lived in Philadelphia. Betsy Ross was young, 24 years old, and she was supporting herself, and she supported herself through an upholstery business. The committee asked her if she thought she could make a flag from a design, a rough drawing of which General Washington showed her. She replied with deference that she did not know whether she could or not, but she would try. She noticed, however, that the star as drawn had 6 points and informed the committee that the correct star had but 5. They answered that as a great number of stars would be required. The more regular with 6 points could be more easily made than with 5 points. She responded in a practical way by deftly folding a scrap of paper. Then, with a single clip of her scissors, she displayed a true symmetrical 5-pointed star. This decided the committee in her favor. A rough design was left for her use, but she was permitted to make a simple flag according to her own idea of the arrangement of the stars and the proportions of the stars and the general form of the whole. Sometime after its completion, it was presented to Congress, and the committee had the pleasure of informing Betsy Ross that her flag was accepted as the nation's standard. So Betsy Ross is given credit as making the very first flag. However, there is no true documentation to this. So some people credit Betsy Ross with making the very first flag, but some people do not, because there's no complete evidence that she did make the very first flag. But this has become Betsy Ross has become also a part of the flag from history that has been passed down from one generation to the next generation. So again, how many stars did we have on our very first flag? 13. How many stars do we have on our flag today? 50. And what do those 50 stars represent today? The 50 states in the United States of America. Now, how many stripes did we say that we had on our flag today? We have 13, and they are alternating red, white, red, white. And what do those 13 stripes represent? Yes, they represent the original 13 colonies that helped to develop the United States of America in the beginning. So what we're going to get ready to do, if you picked up a kit, you should have it with you, and we're going to start making our flag today, which you should have everything. The only thing the museum did not supply was the glue to help you make your flag. So the first thing you will need to do, you will need to find your sheet of paper. And if you noticed, we up here, the square area, that's gonna be our blue field that will be home to the stars that the number of stars that you would like to submit into the field. And then we're gonna start with red, white, red, white, red, white with our tissue paper. So let's start with our red tissue paper first. So if you'll just take out your red baggie of tissue paper. And if you have your glue, I have found the easiest way to create our flag would be if you would go ahead and put glue on your paper a little bit, and just put a little bit of glue up here. And then you can take your piece of tissue paper, wrap it around your finger, and you can stick it onto the piece of paper. So take one sheet at a time. Kind of bunch it up a little bit and stick it up there with your finger. Yes, they can be a little hard to get apart. So how's everybody doing out there? Take another one. And you're gonna, once we get this last, we'll take one more of the red. So you got you'll go all the way across with your red tissue paper. Now, if you want to, we'll go. You can work on this throughout the day because it does take a little bit of time to complete this activity. So we will put some, we got our white tissue paper out. So we're just going to take our glue stick again and we will put it right up here. And we'll start scrunching our white tissue paper a little bit. It's a little bit harder to see the white on the white. Some more white. Just fill it in because I believe that you will have enough tissue paper to complete all of your rows. So we'll fill that in. Whoops, did that one fall off? Make sure you put enough glue up there so they will stick. So we got our white up there. We want it to look full when you're sticking them up there. And now again, your blue tissue paper is going to go right over here in this square, right here. So if you'll start, at some point, or we can go ahead and complete it all together. But I think with the time that it takes, you might want to work on this a little bit off and on. But when you get your completed product, this is what it's going to look like. So with your blue field, you want to every once in a while put a white piece of tissue paper in there to represent what? A star that would represent a state within the United States of America. And again, remember, the red and white stripes represent the 13 colonies, and the stars in the blue field represent the states within the United States of America. And if you remember the very first flag we looked at, how many stars did you see? You only saw 13 stars. And today on our flag, we have 50 stars. So I hope you have learned a little bit about the flag of the United States of America and how it is a symbol for us here today. And we can just about ride anywhere in our car and see that. But before we end today, what I would like to do, I'm going to share my screen one more time with you. And as you can see, we will have another talk time on Thursday, July the 9th, 2020 at 10 a.m. And we're going to discover the saying of let's take lemons and make lemonade. And I think the last couple of months, we have probably taken a lot of lemons and we've made a lot of lemonades. And then also too, if you have any information, I do have if you're watching this at another time, I do have extra packets here at the museum. So if you would like to stop by and pick one up, we can arrange a time because we're not able to welcome visitors back into the museum yet, but we're hoping that we can. Hopefully next month, the month of July. But if you will email me, I will be glad to meet you out in the parking lot and give you a packet so that you can work on the activity that we had today in reference to Flag Day. And if you would like to catch the program today again, or if you missed it today and you're picking up at another time, I have included our YouTube site for the Museum of the Albemarle, and the link is at the bottom of this page. But if you can view the talk time today, and we are also offering our History for Lunches that will be published on our YouTube page also. But again, thank you for joining us today. We're just glad that you did, and we cannot wait to welcome you back to the Museum of the Albemarle. And we just hope you stay safe, and we will hopefully see you next month on Thursday, July the 9th. If you have anything that you would like to say to me, I'm going to stop the screen share, and if you will unmute yourself, you can talk to me if you would like to for a minute, and we can stop the recording. Well, good morning. It's 10 o'clock, so we are going to go ahead and get started this morning. If you would like to let me know that you are